and welcome to St. Lucia Magazine, your weekly news program bringing you the latest updates on key developments in healthcare, education, infrastructure, the environment, and the economy. I'm your host, Petula Olibert. In this edition of St. Lucia Magazine, the Minister for Equity addresses the lack of equal access to feminine hygiene products, and farmers receive free artificial ground covers as part of the UBEC project. In the top story, the Minister for Equity lends his voice to the ongoing discussion on the provision of support for students who struggle to access essential feminine hygiene products due to financial constraints. More in this report from Kishma Serrier.
The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, indicated during his budget statement that $250,000 would be provided to the Ministry of Education to address the issue of inadequate access to menstrual health products. The initiative will ensure that schools receive feminine hygiene supplies in order to assist students who experience financial constraints. The news sparked widespread debate on the necessity of such an initiative. The honorable member stated that the issue must be identified, confronted, and addressed in order to educate and enrich the women of the country.
What I love about, the Prime Minister in presenting his budget is that he attacked it head on, direct. Leave no room for you to think anything else. It is period poverty. Liberate our young ladies. That's what it means. It is period poverty, end it. And those who hide behind pulpits saying that women are unclean, it is period poverty, let us deal with it. Our children will not suffer with all stigma and all issues that maybe our older generation didn't know different. For those who, promote and made our daughters feel like they were less.
Period poverty is defined as a lack of access to menstrual health products, sanitation, cleanliness, and health education. This has a global impact on women and girls' education, health, and overall well-being. From the Government Information Service, I am Kishma Serrier.
The Ministry of Agriculture, under the UBEC project, has begun the distribution of free artificial ground covers to farmers who cultivate pumpkins, pineapples, cucumbers, and melons. Sarek Felix tells us more.
In a continued effort to enhance agricultural productivity and strengthen food security, the Unleashing the Blue Economy of the Caribbean UBEC project, through its Contingent Emergency Response Component, CERC, has commenced the distribution of approximately 1,000 rolls of ground cover to farmers across St. Lucia free of charge. The distribution activity was launched at the Lakai Dennery, targeting farmers who cultivate crops such as cucumbers, pumpkin, watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe, and pineapple. A key criterion for eligibility was the presence of drip irrigation systems on the farm, ensuring the ground cover is used efficiently and effectively. The main objective of providing ground covers are to suppress weed growth and retain soil moisture, two crucial factors in the cultivation for these sensitive crops. These benefits are expected to significantly reduce the cost of production while increasing crop yields. Chief Extension Officer of the Ministry of Agriculture, Eloy Alexis, highlighted the importance of using ground covers to suppress weed and increase yields.
So essentially, the objective of giving the farmers this ground cover is for them to, for it to suppress weed growth and also retain water in the ground. We all know that these crops are very sensitive in terms of when it comes to weeding. So if it's just planted on the bare ground, going in and weed may interfere, especially when this plant starts to flower. It may affect the flower or fruit sets.
Farmers receiving the ground cover expressed their satisfaction and gratitude. Many highlighted how the material will ease the weed management burden and help conserve water, especially during dry spells.
I believe that this is a very good venture because I am one who have used the ground cover for over 25 years. And I can say that one of the biggest advantages is the great economic cost, that economic benefit that farmers get from that. actually you eliminate, with the use of ground cover, you eliminate one of the biggest costs in farming, and that is weeding. So you virtually eliminate weeding if it is done properly.
The Ministry of Agriculture anticipates a marked increase in production of these crops in the coming months. If realized, this could translate into reduced price inputs and increased availability of fresh, locally grown produce on the market. This distribution forms part of St. Lucia's broader push to build climate resilience and ensure food sovereignty through smart, targeted agricultural support. From the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development, I am Zarek Felix reporting.
And in more agriculture news, a consultation for banana and plantain farmers was held to discuss a farm insurance initiative that will soon be launched. Zarek Felix tells us more.
In a proactive step towards strengthening the resilience of St. Lucia's agriculture sector, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development recently hosted a national consultation to engage banana and plantain farmers on a soon-to-be-launched farm insurance initiative. The consultation provided farmers with detailed information about the new insurance initiative set to be implemented between May 2025 and 2026, and to offer them a platform to give feedback on the policy design. The initiative is designed specifically to protect banana and plantain farmers from the devastating financial impact of natural disasters, particularly as the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season looms. The government of St. Lucia has earmarked $1 million in the 2025-2026 national budget to fund the rollout of the program. The insurance package will follow a parametric model, providing payouts based on measurable weather parameters. The policy will be triggered by any of three key risk factors: excessive wind, rainfall, and extreme heat. Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Randall Esnad, emphasized the importance of farm insurance for banana and plantain farmers in light of a natural disaster.
This afternoon, it is really important. It's a really important day for the banana industry and for farmers in the banana and plantain sector. I'm not sure how many of you would have listened to the budget presentation by the Prime Minister and your Honorable Minister of Agriculture last week. And one of the announcements that was made, and I think it was also mentioned during the presentation of the checks last year, is that the government would explore farm insurance for the agricultural sector. However, in the first instance, we are starting with the banana and plantain farmers. Why? Because these are the first set of farmers to be impacted when we have a natural disaster.
Farmers welcomed the consultation, acknowledging the new insurance framework could provide much-needed financial stability during times of crisis. Several participants raised questions about the claim process, premium structures, and the threshold for triggering payouts, topics that the officials noted would be finalized based on the feedback received during the consultation. Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Bradley Saint-Urge, emphasized the need for banana and plantain farmers' consultations to have protection against natural disasters and outlined how the farm insurance will be triggered.
The ministry has sat down, ministry officials with the extension officers. We have had consultation with the exporters, the various farmers, the various stakeholders, and we now want to put a package in place, an insurance package to protect our farmers from those natural disasters. Okay, so this is how all of that came about, all right? And it's not an indemnity insurance package, rather they call it a parametric insurance, all right? And parametric, it is affected by a trigger, and the trigger sometimes is in three categories: the wind, excessive rainfall, and excessive or high temperatures or excessive heat.
As St. Lucia continues its effort to adapt to climate change and support rural livelihoods, the Farm Insurance Initiative represents a significant milestone in building agricultural resilience. From the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development, I am Zarek Felix reporting.
This is St. Lucia Magazine. Coming up, the Ministry of Health hosts a healthy eating initiative. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Welcome to St. Lucia's Security Interest in Movable Properties Registry, or Collateral Registry, a trusted platform for securing loans with movable assets like machinery, vehicles, or receivables. Financial institutions register their security lien over assets, providing transparency for both lenders and borrowers. Before issuing a loan, lenders can quickly search for existing liens on an asset to avoid conflicts. Being first to register typically means priority in claims if a default occurs. After a loan is paid off, the corresponding lien is removed from the registry. This innovative system fosters transparency, safeguards rights, and enables businesses to leverage their assets for growth. Enhance your financial access using movable collateral. Speak to your lender today. For more information, contact the St. Lucia High Court at 468-7500.
Welcome back. The needs of children with disabilities is the main focus of a course being held for special education teachers as part of a strategy to provide support to the differently abled. Chris Satney tells us more.
The Child Protection Certification, led by the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training Special Educations Unit, is expected to train more than 90 professionals across sectors in St. Lucia. Principals, educators and ancillary staff are participating in the intensive training program hosted by Sacred Sports Foundation Incorporated, SSF, as a component of its Including Us capacity development program funded by the European Union. The training sessions are intended to improve participants' understanding of their responsibilities in safeguarding and protecting persons with disabilities in their care, besides offering critical awareness and practical training on how to recognize and report abuse indicators. The training, according to Education Officer for Special Education, Dale Sachis, will adopt a three-pronged strategy with the goal of creating safer, more welcoming and supportive settings for all children.
Research shows that children with special needs have a high incidence or great likelihood of experiencing abuse and maltreatment. We are privileged to have teachers and staff working with children with special needs who love them and care for them. But the special education unit wants to be proactive in terms of prevention of the likelihood of mistreatment, abuse, or any kind of negative experience coming to children with special needs.
One of the core components of successful child safeguarding is creating awareness regarding child safeguarding, countering prevailing community opinions, and building a culture in which the well-being and best interest of each child are continually upheld. Mr. Sachis also emphasized the necessity to expand existing protocols within the special education sector.
We do want our teachers to be in the forefront of conducting themselves in a way that honor the dignity of children with special needs. We want also for that kind of disposition to spread in society for people in general when they encounter persons with disabilities, to understand that that is first a person and to give them the dignity of recognizing and honoring their humanity before they recognize or describe anything else about them.
Executive Director of the Sacred Sports Foundation Incorporated, Nova Alexander, says the ministry's active involvement in this training is a strong suggestion of its unfaltering commitment to the protection of enhancing the well-being of all children, things which she says are core to the SSF's mandate.
I think for us, in terms of child safeguarding and working with the special education sector, it really is about introducing them to child safeguarding as opposed to child protection, for example, and really looking at a certification which really speaks to the basic level of child safeguarding and making sure that people understand the basic needs of what you need to do to ensure that the children in your care are free from harm.
The Sacred Sports Foundation, SSF, has been a leader since 2010 in establishing and upholding the highest standards in child safeguarding. The organization has been working consistently in supporting partners through comprehensive training, developing robust policies and procedures, and ongoing promotion of advocacy for best practices and children's rights. From the Communications Unit of the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training, I am Chris Satney.
The Ministry of Health hosted a Healthy Eating for Better Living initiative, focused on the prevention and control of metabolic diseases. A hands-on cooking demonstration was a key highlight.
In a spirited effort to promote healthier lifestyles among St. Lucians, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, in collaboration with the Capacity Building Project for the Prevention and Control of Metabolic Diseases in St. Lucia, hosted the Healthy Eating for Better Living event on Friday, April 25th at the Saltibus Wellness Center. The one-day initiative, held under the banner of health education and disease prevention, featured an opening ceremony that brought together specially invited guests, health professionals, and ministry officials. In attendance were key stakeholders committed to tackling the growing burden of metabolic diseases through informed nutrition and community engagement. The highlight of the event was an interactive cooking session that offered participants hands-on guidance in preparing nutritious meals using locally available ingredients. Health experts shared practical tips on balanced meal planning, portion control, and the importance of reducing processed foods, salt, and sugar in everyday diets. Nutritionist for Region 5, Fadia Campbell, explained the significance of the activity and its role in reducing the risk of metabolic diseases.
So the activity here today, it represents a practical demonstration of healthy diet for individuals who may or may not have chronic non-communicable diseases. And the goal here is really to encourage or to continue to encourage you to eat the locally grown foods. C'est manger ou ka planter un saltibis, right? C'est go manger ou ça servir, but of course, on y pour servir at a limit. All right? So we know that lifestyle modifications, especially dietary habits, are the main therapeutic strategy for the treatment and management of what we call metabolic diseases.
During her address, the Senior Medical Officer for Non-Communicable Diseases, Dr. Shanna Sear-Filbert, emphasized the critical role of healthy eating in the prevention and control of chronic diseases, noting that small dietary changes can lead to significant improvements in overall health outcomes.
There is strong evidence that links the impact of diet, what we eat, on not just our physical health, but also on our mental health. So, you ask yourself, and I ask myself as well, do we have the power to eat ourselves to health or death? While you're answering, I will say, yes, we do. We have the power to decide what goes into our mouths and what affects our health and our life. There is an overwhelming body of evidence to support the role of diet in causing or preventing diseases. So we're saying that there's evidence that shows that what we eat affects us for good or not so good. Mrs. Campbell mentioned this earlier, so you're hearing it again because it is extremely important. A diet that is high in saturated fats, trans fats, high in salt, and low in fiber, and we know we get our fiber from our fruits and our vegetables, it contributes significantly to heart attacks and strokes. And in case you did not know this, in St. Lucia, for the past 20 years at least, strokes and heart attacks are the leading causes of death.
Participants were engaged and energized, leaving the event better equipped to make healthier choices at home and in their communities. The initiative forms part of the ministry's ongoing public education campaign to reduce the incidence of lifestyle-related conditions such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs continues to advocate for healthier communities through collaborative efforts, educational outreach, and sustainable programs that empower citizens to take charge of their health. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, I am Onika McCoy.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Mercy Corps collaborated for disaster resilience sensitization at the Miku Playing Field. Sarek Felix tells us more.
Held at the Miku Playing Field this past weekend, Mercy Corps and the Ministry of Agriculture joined forces for the CAM Disaster Preparedness Fair, which brought together dozens of agencies, experts, and community members for a day of hands-on demonstrations, interactive exhibits, and critical information sharing. This fair was an output of the Caribbean Resilience Initiative, CRI, Preparedness, Resilience, and Impact for Those Most Excluded Prime Project, and was convened under the theme Keep Calm in the Storm, Collaborate, Act, Listen, Maintain. Community Resilience Senior Coordinator of the Mercy Corps Prime Project, Fedora Justin Alcindor, emphasized the need for collaboration on disaster resilience and preparedness, as well as the importance of educating the public on their roles and responsibilities in the disaster preparation.
As we're saying, keep calm, we're saying to collaborate, so come together as a team of agencies centered on disaster resilience and preparedness in St. Lucia. So today we have a whole cadre of agencies, from Caritas Antilles to OECS to Humanitarian OpenStreetMap, NEMO, I mean the whole cadre of services, St. John's, and the list goes on and on. We're all here on the equal playing field, and we're bringing you a lineup of the various services as it pertains to disaster preparedness in St. Lucia.
The Water Resource Management Agency, WRMA, was among several featured agencies that used the opportunity to share climate-smart strategies with farmers and households in vulnerable zones. Acting Water Resource Specialist Junior Mafre emphasized the importance of using both historical and current hydrological data to support disaster resilience efforts, particularly in preparing for heavy rainfall and flooding.
In terms of a disaster, the Water Resource Management Agency has historical data and also current data. So that data is used to plan for early warning and to take some preparative steps, also to assist in maybe restoring an area that maybe got damaged by a disaster. A disaster by that, I mean rainfall or floods.
Participation at the Calm Disaster Preparedness Fair formed part of the Ministry of Agriculture's broader commitment to disaster reduction and climate resilience across the sector. For participants, it was a reminder that preparedness is not only possible, it's necessary. As St. Lucia heads into this year's hurricane season, the message from the Agriculture Ministry is clear. Stay informed, stay equipped, and stay calm. From the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security, and Rural Development, I'm Zarek Felix reporting.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break.
Yeah, my G. Yeah. The road clear, my G. Do road.
I don't feel now is the right side.
Are you mean by the road clear, my G? Do road 120. Yeah, man. That's how we do it. Like real boss. Boy. Yes, that. Watch it.
Don't fall victim to peer pressure when driving. Your life and the lives of others are your responsibility. Drive safe. Arrive alive.
Welcome back. In recognition of National Library Week, St. Lucia's information professionals came together for a symposium aimed at strengthening the profession and promoting a culture of knowledge sharing. Geraldine Bisset-Joseph has the details.
The National Association of Librarians and Information Professionals, NALIP, in St. Lucia, marked the observance of National Library Week with a symposium designed to celebrate and strengthen the profession of librarianship across the island and the wider Eastern Caribbean. The symposium provided a platform for knowledge sharing and academic discourse. According to NALIP President Sonia Rees, the annual event is a vital part of the week-long celebrations.
Part of the annual celebrations for annual observance for National Libraries Week, the Association for St. Lucia for Librarians and the Information Professionals, we have an annual symposium which is usually held at the end of the week of the activities, and this symposium brings together researchers, and they don't have to be librarians, but they can be librarians, library workers, information professionals who want to add to the body of knowledge around librarianship and being an information worker within St. Lucia space, and of course, across the Eastern Caribbean.
The event offered attendees the opportunity to explore how libraries contribute to the intellectual development of St. Lucia and the Eastern Caribbean. Rees emphasized that while the symposium is academic in nature, it also serves as a motivational space for professionals who often work in small teams.
What the symposium does as well, it brings together like minds where we encourage each other and we motivate each other, especially in this space, because sometimes it's just a handful of us and we need to stick together and work hard together in union to see our profession evolve.
Rees also expressed gratitude to the people of St. Lucia for their continued support and encouraged the public to make use of library services in all forms. For St. Lucia Magazine, I am Geraldine Bisset Joseph.
And to wrap it up, a panel discussion on the International Day of the Midwife discussed the experiences, challenges, and the future of maternal and newborn care. Kishma Serrier tells us more.
International Day of the Midwife is celebrated on May 5, 2025. And in an effort to celebrate and bring life to the challenges of midwifery, the ministry held a panel discussion with a few midwives for a better understanding of a field so vital. Marilyn Paul, retired nurse with 44 years experience, shared some insight.
Midwifery is a noble profession. In fact, it is regarded as the world's #1 or the first holistic profession, and that's in the world. So I'm proud to be a midwife, and I think midwife carry with it some special characteristics. Midwifery, you have to be knowledgeable, skilled, and caring. These three components combined give you a competent person in that field.
A nurse and midwife for over 2 decades and vice president of the St. Lucia Interest Corps, Diana Henry Ernest, explained that midwifery does not start and end with the mother, but has to consider the father and the family who are impacted by the changes taking place.
During the labor and delivery process, it's our job as midwives to ensure these little ones come out to this world healthy. This is all our jobs. And after this happened, we care for this woman postpartumly. We care for her baby, we care for the father, for siblings in the home as well, because adding an addition to the family can be a skill that requires a person to help you have these children, be in the family in a way that everybody is comfortable, nobody's feeling left out, even the fathers feel left out as well. So it's a responsibility of the midwife to ensure that this woman welcomes her baby in an environment that is welcoming, that is good for growth and development for this child.
Henry Ernest affirms the department's commitment to training and creating compassionate, efficient, and professional midwives. From the Government Information Service, I am Kishma Serrier.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of St. Lucia Magazine. Special thanks to all who contributed to this production: the National Television Network, the GIS team, and the communications officers of the various ministries. And thank you, our viewers, for joining us on NTN Channel 122 and on the social media pages of the Government of St. Lucia. I am Petula Olibert. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, as we look forward to more positive developments in the week ahead.